get them to know, and also to see what we have to work.
Okay, very good. Very good, exactly. If we do an examination at the end, it will be too late, right? We need to do some diagnostics tests or, you know, progress test or, you know, to see if how you're doing, no? All right, so why students expect to be tested and why is this beneficial for them? Vicky, what do you think about it?
Because it's almost the same for teachers, and they know how is the advance of their knowledge, and in that point they can figure the things that they have to pay more attention for one topic or something like that.
Exactly. What would happen if a student doesn't know or is not being tested, Carlita?
I didn't hear the last part.
Yeah,
Sorry.
what would happen to a student that is never been or is never tested in the course? What would happen to his attitude?
Probably the student will not have motivation for study.
Exactly. If you tell the students, this is going to be in the exam, no, hombre, pues hasta se lo aprenden de memoria, ¿verdad? So yes, examinations are important. Then we discuss different types of the characteristics of a good exam, the validation, and we said that an exam should test what's supposed to be tested, right? And maybe Abril says, well, that's true, that's obvious. Yes, that's obvious, but we said that many teachers don't do that, no? So they do very vague questions in order to maybe affect intentionally or without intention to students. Okay, so now let's talk about type of test items. What are the items and the tests that we need to have? Okay, so everybody can see my my screen. Not if you see it. Thank you. So type of tests. A major factor in the success or failure, excuse me, a major factor in the success or failure of an exam will be determined by the item tests types that it contains. Okay? We're going to start with direct and indirect test items. First, what is a test item? A test item is direct. Continue reading, Vicky.
Sorry. Direct and indirect test items. A test item is direct if it asks students to perform the communicative skill which is being tested. Example, if the aim of the test is to check listening comprehension, students will be given a test that will check the listening skills, such as listening to the audio and doing the reproduction activities.
Okay, so basically, if I want to know if my students comprehend the simple present in a conversation, I will ask directly, listen to the next conversation and copy the sentences in simple present. See what I mean? It's a direct instruction to a direct competence. All right, no goofing around, no other type of answers, a very direct and a specific answer. What can we do with this type of activities? Well, continue reading, who's here, Jimena.
Sorry. Introduce real-life language through authentic tasks. Example, role plays, summarizing the general idea, providing missing information, etc.
Exactly. It could be, for example, multiple choice questions. It could be filling the gaps. It could be different types of direct testing. And also, it gives us precise information about students' abilities. Continue reading, Melissa. Yeah, she's watching porn. Pay attention, Melissa.
Of course not. That's at night, not right now.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, can you tell me where were we?
Exactly. That's my point proven. So
But I'm listening.
Says gives us precise information.
Okay. Thank you. Gives us precise information about students' abilities. When writing an essay, the teacher might be interested in checking a particular skill only, such as producing the right layout of an essay or just grammar usage.
Exactly. So again, a direct item test is a question that you want to know a direct and a specific area of a student or you know, the student's capacities. You know, and for example, if it's an essay, okay, I want to know if my students got the, or memorize the past participle of the verbs, the irregular verbs. Okay, so listen to or read this paragraph and circle the correct past participle verbs. It's a direct question. Okay? No, se frició. Okay, can you listen to me? Sorry, my connection. All right. So now, what about indirect testing? So, sorry, did you listen to my last part about the direct testing? No, okay. Direct testing is an instruction or a question for you to know a specific ability of the student. Example, you want to know if your students actually got to memorize your the verbs and past participle. Okay, so here is the reading, read the paragraph, but you don't care if they actually pronounce the words correctly. You don't even care if they comprehend the meaning of the paragraph. You just want to circle, and you give a direct explanation. Circle the past participle of the verb. That's a direct instruction and a direct item. Okay? Now let's see the contrary activity, the indirect testing. Can you read that? Millie, hello. Well, Millie is just log in. Let's wait for, okay. Yes.
Integrative testing intends to check several language skills.
No, and the first one, indirect testing.
Indirect testing, on the other hand, measures a skill through some skill. Indirect items try to find out about student knowledge through more controlled items.
Continue.
Example, multiple choice questions or grammar transformation items. They are easier to design and easier to grade, producing more reliability.
Okay, very good. So in this point, we try to do a more control activity, but we don't give a specific instruction of the students' capacities. For example, a grammar, it says here a grammar transformation. We're gonna see some examples in a moment. But have you seen like an example of on Scrabble, the sentence? Have you seen those exercises where it has the words in a random way, and you have to Scrabble or Scrabble and order them? It doesn't tell you what a specific grammar point or what a specific capacity students is being evaluated. You just want to know pretty much, you know, English comprehension. Okay, that's indirect testing. And then we have two types of indirect testing, the discrete point testing and the integrative testing. Can you read discrete point testing, please, Carlita?
It means to test a particular language item, grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, or spelling.
Example?
Choosing the correct tense of a verb.
Okay, what about integrative testing? Read that, who's here? Vicky.
Integrative testing intends to check several languages skills simultaneously. Example, writing a composition or doing a conversation oral test.
Okay, very good. We're going to see some examples of this. In many proficiency tests, there's a mixture of direct and indirect, discrete and integrated testing. Okay, so let's talk about some of the examples, the actual examples. Number one, multiple choice questions, MCQs. They're really easy to grade, but are the hardest if you design them, if you write them, these are the hardest to design. And let me explain why. So point number one is easy to grade. Normally, if they're graded by computers, but they're very difficult to write well. Why? Have you ever done a multiple choice question exam? No, like have you designed it to your students? That's my question. No? Have you, April?
Yeah, it's my daily work now. Actually, since the quarantine started, we start multiple choice by Kahoot, Google Classroom, Google Forms, Pleno, etc., 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 etc.
Do you find it
We have
easier
been
to
working
do?
on that. No, it takes longer, and you have like to get more information, like try to trick them, but not much, and I don't like it.
Exactly, you need to make them similar. That's what makes it harder. Okay, so yes, if you have it already done, that's very easy because you just count the answers. But if you had to make them, they're hard. Okay, can you read the last point, Carlita?
Where says both?
Yes, please.
Okay. Both their validity and reliability are suspect, for the score would depend on the student's ability to dominate MCQS techniques rather than her understanding of the.
Okay, so MCQs, Carlita, means multiple choice questions. And basically what you just read.
Oh, okay.
And basically what you just read is the Ave Maria Punteria. No, the Ave Maria Dame Punteria. So there might be a student that it's, you know, they goes in mini, mani, mo, and passes the exam. So it's not that really, they are not really reliable to grade students' competences. Actually, in fact, if you take TOEFL and you just do it randomly, I mean, like with not without reading it and just fill in the blanks, you get in 390 to between 390 and 420 points on score because of statistics. So yes, multiple choice questions is easier, but it's not English, you know, production friendly to students.
And how many points do you need to pass the exam?
Well, TOEFL test is not passing or not passing. TOEFL test tells you if you speak English or not. According to institutions, the acceptable English for an English teacher is 550 points. According to CEP, is 580. Okay, or excuse me, 575 points. That's Banda 12 del CENI. And according to you know, Tec de Monterrey, La Salle, 600 to 620. So it actually depends on the institution. So normally the standard is 550, but it depends on the institution. For the students to be graduated is 480. Well, it depends on the career, no, and the major, but normally it's 480 to 500. Okay, all right. So
Thank you.
no problem. Now, another example. Close test and gap filling tests. Can you read the first point? Marta, you here?
And shoes clothes comes from the word,
Yes.
yes. Clothes comes from the word closure and means the individual's ability to complete a model.
Okay.
There are two close test techniques. Pseudo-random involves partial or total detection of random words at a definite range, e.g. every seventh word. Rational close technique or gap filling is based on the detection or deletion of words connected with in topic the teacher wants to check, e.g. present tense of be.
Very good. Now, Marta, pseudo-random, and it says involves partial of deletion of random words at a definite range example. Okay, very good.
Definite.
So we have an example here. Let me see. Okay, we have an example here, right? You see it? So and we have the words. I went that my to within with of broad 20 and Georgiana of evening and county. Now, is this sent on random or is it sent on random or is it rational? What do you think? Millie, you said rational? No, set of random.
Rational.
Rational. Why would you answer that, Millie? Or who was it, Millie or Carlita? No? Remember what Marta read? Pseudo-random has no specific grammar point. It only tells you every 3 or 4 words, I'm going to delete it, and then I'm just whatever word it is, you need to give it. Rational is when you actually have a specific instruction, like I'm going to delete all the adjectives. So, and then you say fill in the blanks with the correct adjective. So in this case, I believe this is pseudo-random, because it has no grammar point. It's just, you know, the professor erased randomly the words. My guess is every fifth word, and then you needed to complete the test. Okay? All right. Okay. Now, what about transformation and paraphrase? Can you read this, Vicky?
Transformation and paraphrase. It's meant, I'm sorry, to ask students to rewrite sentences in a slightly different form, retaining the striking meaning of the original. Example, I'm so sorry that I didn't get her an anniversary present.
Okay,
I
so
wish.
Can you tell me paraphrasing the sentence?
When you open the text, we can read the sentence. No.
Oh, okay, wait a minute. I see what you mean. Like that? Okay. So I'm going to write it in here. Okay. Wait, no. Was not true. Here, okay.
I don't know exactly the point, but it could. I wish could give her a nice anniversary present.
Carlita?
I wish I would have given her an anniversary present.
Very good. Close enough, Vicky. The only problem with your sentence is this was a past tense explanation or expression.
Okay, okay.
So if you use modal verbs in past, it's might have, or might have, or could have, or would have. So yes, I wish. Can you repeat, Paquita?
I wish I would have given her an anniversary present.
Very good. Excellent. What about the next one? Sentence reorder. Can you read this? Who was here? Gina, can you? No, she's not here. Maribel, can you read this?
In order, I'm sorry, I wasn't
read the description.
like, okay, sentences reordering, getting students to put words in the right order to make an appropriate sentence tell us quite a lot about their knowledge of syntax and lexicogrammatical elements. Example, put the words in order to make correct sentences.
Okay, let's check this one. Sería call, I am in, sorry, wasn't when you.
I'm sorry, I wasn't when you call it. When you call it, I wasn't.
Okay. Like that?
Call it in.
Yes, like that? Okay, Carlita?
In where we can put in. I'm sorry, it wasn't when you call it in.
Like that?
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, yeah. Excellent. All right. And then there are other indirect items like fill in the gaps, choosing the correct tense and verbs, and we're going to see some examples, okay? Now, points to be considered when using direct and indirect testing. Number one, direct testing. For direct test items to achieve validity and to be reliable, test designers, AKA you teachers, need to do the following. Number one, create a level playing field. What does it mean? Read it, Millie, or no, Melissa?
Sure. Types of test items.
If you pay attention, I already read that. Millie, continue where I left off.
The second one?
I already read that. Millie, continue where you left off. Okay, create a level playing field. Continue reading. Melissa.
Create, don't worry. I'm listening to you, but I was just writing with my son.
Sure. Okay. Hello,
sorry. Create a level playing field. Choose topics that come close to ensure that all candidates have the same chance of success. Why was the discovery of DNA so important for the science of the 20th century?
Let's say that you're given a lecture, or excuse me, you're given an instruction of writing an essay, okay? And you say, okay, guys, 700 words and about the DNA. Why was the discovery of DNA so important for science in the 20th century? And there are 4th graders. What would happen?
They are going to be lost completely.
Exactly, and your validity,
I guess,
and your exam
and the teacher is gone again.
will not be reliable. Okay, so if you're given a direct item, can you listen to me? Yeah, let me change my network, okay? Let me use my cell phone. Hold on, because Telmex is really fucked up. Sorry for the expression. Give me 30 seconds. Hold on.
Okay, sure.
April, I'm going to leave you as a host, and let me log in again. Can you listen to me now? Oh, no, it's this. Can you listen to me? Yes, okay. Okay, now we're back on track. All right, okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so if you're given a specific direct test, make sure that everybody knows the context. That's the point. Okay, once, or personally, I do when I write essays, I never do a specific topic. I have an open question. For example, 700 words about your last vacations. Period and continue. Make sure to emphasize sentences in past. Okay? So if I have a student that is very creative and he said, I went to the moon and I met with aliens, and okay, you don't care as long as he complies to have a specific past tense. This is very important, guys, because teachers tend to look up for every detail. No, they're students. Now, if you're teaching chemistry, well, then your question about the DNA is correct because everybody knows what you're talking about. See what I mean? See what it is about being reliable? Okay, good. Now, questions so far? All right. Replicate real life interaction. Now, Millie.
Me?
Yes,
Millie?
Yes,
okay.
Millie.
Replicate real life interaction. Tests of reading and listening should reflect real life, even when they are not authentic. Speaking item type.
Go ahead.
An interviewer questioning a candidate about themselves. Decisions-making activities, such as showing paired candidate. Photos of people in order to come up with a specific opinion about them, using pictures to compare and contrast role-play activities.
Very good. So in this point, you need to replicate a real-life interaction. Just an interviewer. Remember the context. Remember that we're making them reliable. If you're teaching a secundaria and then you ask, okay, I'm going to be, you need to look for a job and I'm going to be your employer, your students will be like, what? So you better adapt it to your students' needs. Okay, I'm your teacher or I'm the director or whatever. So something that is reliable and relative to students. Use pictures to compare, role play, decision-making activities. What are these? Have you ever taken one of these activities? No? Like for example, like there is this, the guys and a crew and a boat, the ship wrecked and a boat only for 4, there are 5 people. One is to be killed. One is to be sacrificed. One is the Pope, the other is a famous scientist, the other one's an artist who donates $1 million a month, blah, 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 blah. So you make trios, you make pairs, and they have to make a decision. Why is this important in an evaluation?
Because you can evaluate speaking and creativity and how can I say that? Actually, you can, how can I say that? I forgot the word. You can evaluate how can then desenvolve with the language.
Very good. So in other words, it motivates oral production. Instead of a multiple choice question like TOEFL is 0 oral production. A person can actually ace the TOEFL without speaking English, speaking. Okay, so yes, Millie.
And also you can evaluate people who is not an grammar or a grammar person. You can evaluate like kinesthetic or auditive people.
Exactly.
The grammar test is not always for all the students. You have to change the test because they are different and they have different skills.
Exactly. Very good. Any other comment about this? No? Okay. What about writing items, tests, types? Jimena?
Writing types. Writing composition and stories, a set of instructions for some common task, newspaper article about a recent event. Sorry.
So Jimena, according to these 3 examples of writing item types, what do you see in common for the students?
That you need to have their attention through like they say, like simple articles, and I don't know, something about a movie, about a book, something like that, something like you say, something that it's in real life
and is interesting to students.
and
Very important.
Yes.
Especially writing. Writing is very boring for students for some reason. Well, there's one or two that might be very creative, but normally they're this boring. So if you have a writing composition story, then you will ask something that is appealing to students. What about reading item types, Ariadne? Ariadne? Yes.
Reading item types. Multiple choice question to test comprehension of a test. Choosing the best summary of a paragraph or a whole text. Inserting sentences provided by the examiner in the correct place in the text.
Very good. Look at these three examples, Ariadne and everybody. Reading in an exam is not just reading. The easiest is multiple choice question, ¿verdad? O sea, what is the name of the main character? Or what happened to Juanito Perez when he opened the door? I don't know. Very, very easy questions. But what about writing a summary of the paragraph? Okay. What about, okay, complete the sentence. What would be a final sentence of the sentence of the paragraph? Or my personal favorite, write a title for the following paragraph. So they have to read the paragraph and then write a title for the paragraph. So you need to be more creative in your type of examinations. Listening item types. Gina, can you read or no? If you have problems, no. Okay, I guess not. So, Jimena, please.
Listening item types. Completing charts with facts and figures from a listening text. Identifying which pictures are being described in a conversation. Identify which of 2 or 3 speakers says what. Following directions on a map.
Very good. So very easy, no? Complete the charts with fact and figures, like the famous match the correct character, or who's speaking that, or who is this, or who is that. But what about identifying the speakers? What about expecting? Listen to the following conversation, and then what is student B going to answer? Or listen to the following conversation. Where does it take place? Or listen to the following conversation. Do you think what age are they? You know, make it more creative in your questions, not just listening and answering MCQs questions. All right, we're going to do, I'm going to give, I don't know, did you bring an exam that you have made or you have applied in the past? If you do so, raise your hand at the ones that have brought it. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice. Vicky, you have one, okay. So would you work with April, please? Yes, and if you don't have it, April, I'm going to be sending a bunch of exams to the WhatsApp. Okay, choose whatever you want. Some of them are from books. Some of them are made by me or other teachers that I have asked permissions to share.
Sorry, can I ask, it was an exam that I applied or that I made for my students?
Well, preferably that you designed.
Oh, yes, I have it. So, yeah.
Okay. So the ones that don't have it, I'm going to send a bunch of exams. Choose one. All of them, even though it's from the book, all of them are perfectible. For example, the ones that come from the book are very not friendly. They're really, really tough. Okay, they're really plain and don't have a lot of indirect testing. I want you to, in pairs, read it, and you're going to check validity, reliability, type of tests involved, and type of test items displayed. And then you're going to decide how can you improve the test. See what I mean? Ariadne, what are you going to do with your partner?
We are going to check kind of tests that you will send us. And we are going to, I know, like classify the validity, reliability type of test.
Very
All the
good.
points.
And then
And improve it.
exactly. And then with your partner, you're going to decide what can be improved. All of them can be improved, okay? This is an exercise, not correct or incorrect question. This is your appreciation and your viewpoint of the examination, okay? Sounds good to you? All right, so it's
Yes.
5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock. Okay, wait a minute. Let me do the pairs. Gina, can you work with us or you just listening? Listening, okay. Okay, so April and who said that? Vicky, okay. Marta and Carlita, are you together or yes? Are you in the same house? No? Okay. So Melissa and Carlita? Okay. So Maribel, are you gone or are you here? Okay, she's
I'm here.
okay. So you work with Marta and Millie
Okay.
with Alanis, if she's here. Alanis, are you here?
Yes, but I've got to go because I have class.
Okay, so you're ditching us. Okay, go ahead. You're
No,
important than me. Leave.
no, I have class.
That's okay. That's okay, Alanis.
Sorry, but thank you.
That's okay,
It
Alanis.
is
Thank you
good
for
to
being
see
here.
you.
Yes, I will see you.
Bye. Take
Yes.
care.
Bye, Alanis. Ariadne with Millie. And who else is? Yes, Vicky.
But if April and me had our own exams, it's still
You're going to, okay, that's a good question. Thank you for telling me. I'm sending a bunch of exams because most of you told me that don't have any. But if you have your own exams, the dynamic is that you exchange.
Okay, okay.
So you send yours and she sends hers and then discuss it. That's actually the dynamic.
Okay, okay. Oh.
But that makes it more dynamic because then you're going to defend your exam. Because maybe your partner says not valid because, and they say, yeah, but that's actually the reason of the dynamic, okay? So who else doesn't have? Everybody has a, yes, Jimena, thank you, I'm sorry. Jimena, work with Millie. And Millie, you're with
Ariadne or an
yeah, Alanis is gone. So you work with Jimena, please.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna give you 15 minutes, or well, that's 20 minutes because 5 for the pre-P break, and we'll see you here 5:20. Okay. Sounds good to you?
You're gonna send us the test?
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to the WhatsApp, and you select whatever you want to. So if you have your own, like Vicky and April, exchange it and then explain why you think it's not or it is valid and so forth. If you don't have it, select one from the WhatsApp and then discuss it. Okay, see? All right, very good. So I'll see you here in 20 minutes, all right? I'm gonna be sending you, I'm going to take off the session because I'm using my data from the cell phone. And 5:20, yes, I know, Millie. And then I'm going to reopen the session in 20 minutes, all right? All right, thanks.
You.
Oh, you need to close the session, April. You're the host. I forgot.